We're here with Garrett from Barefoot Wine at Steel Pony Studio in Philadelphia. Hi, Garrett. How are you today?
Good. How are you doing?
Great. And what are you going to be doing today here?
Well, today we are here for the Citizens for No Kill Philadelphia at the Steel Pony, and I'm here to tell everyone a little bit about Barefoot Wine, but we're also just going to walk through an introduction to wines and go through a flight of whites, moving from light to heavier bodied and sweeter, and same thing with the reds. And at the end, we're just going to take some question and answer, and help uncover all the mysteries of wine, if you will, and just kind of enlighten everyone and have a good time today. So it's Saturday about 1:30 in the afternoon, and we're going to start drinking right now.
Ah, sounds good.
Yeah, so Barefoot Wine, it's been around since about 1965, and it's the most awarded winery in the country, under $15, and we've got 14 different varietals, so it'd be too timely to go through them all today, so I just picked out 8, so it's still kind of a lot to go through, but we're going to have a good time with it.
Sounds good.
And you're going to sit down and join us.
Yes, I will.
Yeah,
Thanks.
Great. Thank you.
And you're the next Garrett in line, right?
Yep.
And tell me who you're with.
I'm with Citizens for No Kill Philadelphia. We're a animal welfare group in Philadelphia trying to make Philly a safe place for homeless animals.
And you're having an event coming up, another event too, a big event coming up in May.
Yeah, it's the largest adoption event in Philadelphia history. It's called With Love Super Adoption Day at the Piazza. It's from 12 to 4 on May 22nd. And we're going to have dozens of rescue groups with dozens of adoptable animals there for people to come and meet and hopefully bring home a new member of the family.
Hey, that sounds good. So if you're around, come out and adopt a pet. How's that?
That's right.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
First of all, I'm Garrett Fardelmann. I work with the Barefoot Winery. I've been with the company for the last 6 years. I'm our regional area manager for our brand in Ohio, Pennsylvania, Maryland, DC, Delaware, and I make sure that we're constantly partnering with different charities and organizations that fit our ideals and values, like I was telling you about our owners earlier. So we've been doing charity work only as our advertising for the last 20 years. And so I've been a part of that for 6, and so we support just a wide variety of organizations.
How long has Barefoot been around?
Over 40 years. 1965
Really?
we were started. Yeah, in a laundry room up in the Russian River Valley by Michael and Bonnie. And yeah, it's just, they're great people, and they're still with us, even though 6 years ago the Gallo family was allowed to purchase him, and I say allowed because it's also a family company, and that was really important to Michael and Bonnie, that if they were going to sell out, that all the brand would still be taken care of the way they always saw it. So some of the big things we do throughout the years, it's summertime, we clean up beaches, so we're actively all around the country. Last year we did over 25 major cleanups, as well as a lot of smaller cleanups around the country. So we spend our time actually doing active things in the community and different charities. So just to give you an idea, there's about 40 to 50 of us around the country now, and each of us are doing about anywhere from 90 to 120 charity events a year.
Wow.
So we helped raise $29 million for nonprofits last year alone. It's
Wow.
pretty big. So, and we don't spend any money above that on any advertising, so you don't really see us in magazines or newspapers or radio, unless you put us on. So introduction to wine, basically, what we're going to have here today all comes from grapes, but wines are made from any type of fruit. Pretty much anywhere that you can find a sugar, you can introduce yeast to it, and when yeast eats the sugar, the byproduct is alcohol, carbon dioxide, and heat. So that's just the process. So fermentation may sound complicated, but it's really pretty simple. If you throw some yeast in the room with some sugar, they're going to have a party, and the yeast are going to reproduce. So first thing we normally do is start with light body whites, because the tannins and the sugars will build in your mouth as you go. So anytime that you're tasting wines at home with your friends, you want to start with something that's light. But I'm not even sure what that is yet. All right. So Sauvignon Blanc, I'll just tell you, is one of our driest whites. And I'm just going to go through this really informally since we have plenty of time. But proper way to open a bottle is you got the ridges up here. And a lot of people will cut it right across here, or just jam the worm right in the top and go for it. But there's a ridge right underneath there. And the easiest way that I find to do it is just to hold that away from you with your thumb on the blade and spin the bottle. And that gives you a nice clean cut. That way the wine isn't like pouring over the foil or anything like that. So I'll pour the Sauvignon Blanc here for you. And you guys are just free to ask questions whenever you want. One of the other things I wanted to cover with you today is the proper way to taste wine. And it's really easy, and an easy way to remember it is, how many senses do you have? You have 6 senses?
Actually, I do.
Shockers.
Women, we have 6.
I agree with that. So the way I have this set up for you here too is just after you taste, you can have like a little nibble of cracker, a little sip of water. You get your spit cups here. You just lip into there, or you can drink it because it's fun to drink. So free to do that however you want. But you can spit in the styrofoam cups and then dump in here later. So Sauvignon Blanc, the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to use your most commonly used sense, your sight. And we'll go through the same process with every wine that you try. So the first thing you do is you look at it against a white sheet of paper. So pick up your glass, take a look at it against your white sheet of paper, and what you're looking for is color. So if you're tasting, say, of 4 or 5 different Sauvignon Blancs, you'll have them all next to each other, and you can kind of look for the color differences. I would describe this as like a brilliant dry hay for color. And then only other thing you can tell by sight is you're going to swirl the glass. And I wish we had real glassware, as you can really tell. But you've all heard the term legs, right? So legs, what you're looking for is how quickly or slowly they move down the side of the glass. Will give you an indication, a guess as to what the body is going to be like. So a heavier body wine is actually going to move down the side of the glass a little more slowly. But you're also looking for the space between the legs. And what that indicates is wider the space, higher the alcohol level. And if it wasn't on camera, we could make a joke, but high alcohol.
Yeah, they'll cut it down.
And so then the next thing you do is sense of smell, your nose. And nose, you're picking up 2 different things, both flavor or scent and bouquet. And bouquet refers to the winemaker's influence. And with something like Sauvignon Blanc, you're not going to have a lot of winemaker influence as far as oak barrels or anything like that. Sauvignon Blancs, unless it's called a Fumé Blanc, Sauvignon Blancs are steel-aged or concrete or just a regular old vap, and no oak in Sauvignon Blanc. They're meant to be very crisp, clean wines. So from the smell here, just pick out some fruit flavors. Try to get at least like 3 different things. You just stick your nose right down in there. Give it a little swirl. It's called volatilizing the esters, if you want to write that down. Anyone smell grapefruit?
Lemon.
Yeah.
Lemon, good, yeah.
2 more people.
Also a touch of like fresh cut grass.
Yeah, I can smell that.
Yeah.
I can smell that.
Maybe a hint of bell pepper too.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
We picked out a few things out of here: grapefruit, bell pepper, a little bit of like fresh cut grass. I don't know. What do you get? It's all very individualistic, and women actually can smell a little better than men. It's true. It's not a man thing.
I think I'm having an allergy.
So now we've used sight to see alcohol level, body, color, clarity. You can also tell age. If it's a little darker, it'll indicate that whites are a little older. So this is obviously, it's very young. This is our 2009 Sauvignon Blanc, which will be moving into the 2010 soon. And it's a very crisp wine. So Sauvignon Blanc, the reason you guys just showed up, the reason we start with Sauvignon Blanc is it's the lightest, crispest, cleanest, driest of the whites, and you always go from lightest to heaviest. So the next sense you use is your sense of taste.
It's our favorite sense.
Just pull a little air across your palate as you taste it. Helps hit the retroolfactory bulb up in the back of your nose.
How do you do that?
So you just kind of you tilt your head slightly forward, part your lips, and just like a bird.
You breathe air first?
Yeah, you pull the air across your palate after the wine's in your mouth. So.
Oh, you keep the wine in your mouth.
You got the right idea though. Let's just drink it, right? She swallows in such a hurry. Yeah, so it's while the wine's sitting in your mouth, you kind of swish it around, you move it around. And so what sense would you not assume that you would really use when you're tasting wine? You wouldn't think your tactile sense, your sense of touch, but you are, because you just put your senses on high alert and you try to figure out what part of your tongue and mouth is that wine hitting. So what are you guys feeling with the Sauvignon Blanc? Do you feel it on the sides of your tongue? Yeah? That's the acidity is picked up there, yeah? You get a little bit on the back of your tongue, that's the bitterness. And if this was a sweeter wine, you definitely feel like a softness right on the tip of your tongue. So when we move up the line, you might get a little bit of that out of the Chardonnay, or definitely the Moscato at the end. You won't get anything on the sides, but yeah. So we're going to taste through a few different fun ones, but the Sauvignon Blanc should be hitting you on the sides, making your mouth water. That's what Sauvignon Blancs are known for. Popular place to source those now is New Zealand and California. And ours is a California Sauvignon Blanc. All of our wines are California. So yeah, you picked up on, what was it, the fresh cut grass, right? Mm-hmm. And you know, then I think just the power of suggestion, that sometimes it takes that little hint until you get your whole repertoire of like descriptive terms. You know, maybe a friend of yours saying, oh, this tastes a little bit like that, and you taste it again, you're like, oh, I can pick that up for sure. Sometimes you just need like a little nudge, because it does help. So sense of hearing. And then the last thing when you're tasting is your overall impression of the wine. First, is it a good representation of Sauvignon Blancs? And I would say for what Sauvignon Blanc is supposed to be, this is phenomenal. And I mean, that's what they are supposed to be. They're supposed to be very fresh, a little citrus, and very clean and light. And then the last thing that anyone ever needs to know is, do you like it? And I think that this would be great with scallops or something like that. And I really do like this, especially on a hot day. This is a very refreshing wine.
Is there something to like make sure that the cork's not dry, or you have to store it on the side so that it keeps it wet? What's the deal with that?
Good,
or are
good.
those not actual cork anymore?
These are not. These are a synthetic cork, which most. So natural cork is a super. Well, it's traditional. It's a super sealer that is used because it introduces oxygen very slowly to wine, which when it over a long period of time, that tiny bit of oxygen transfer helps mature and age the wine. But when we're talking about 99% of what's in a liquor store, and 93% of people that buy wine in a liquor store are drinking it that day. So it's not all that important with your table wines any longer. So screw caps, also called Stelvin closures, are becoming ever more popular. And traditional cork also has an issue with about anywhere from 15 to 20% of all bottles finished in real natural cork have some sort of taint, like a mold, a mildew, something in the cork. So if you buy like a case of wine with natural cork, there's a good chance that 1 to 2 bottles will be bad. Mm-hmm. So in no other industry is that level of possible failure accepted in a consumer product, but for some reason it's okay with wine. So going with a synthetic cork for a wine that is meant to be drank within the first year or two, like a Barefoot or you know, a Bella Sera or Redwood Creek or any of those regular basic table wines, is more commonly seen. So you know you're going to get a fresh, good wine, but you're not going to want to lay these down and age them. And it's not necessarily to lay synthetic cork down to keep the cork moist either. So if you're storing nice wines at home and they have natural cork, and hopefully it's not too late, they should be on their side, because it needs the moisture of the wine to keep those corks nice and soft. So if you're in a restaurant, what's next on our list? Does it say Chardonnay or Pinot Grigio? I thought this out earlier.
Pinot Grigio.
Pinot Grigio? Yeah, I was looking at the pH levels before I did that. So if you're at a restaurant and the waiter comes up and picks you out as the person at the table to taste the wine for everyone and tell them if it's good, he's going to open it up, usually label out, showing it to you, let you know the vintage, where it's made. And when you're screwing that in, you always want to leave at least 1 corkscrew out above the top so you don't go all the way through to the bottom of the cork. And sometimes if you go to the bottom of the cork, it'll push some bits of cork into the wine. Not with synthetic, but so then he'll probably like set that in front of whoever's tasting the wine, and a lot of people pick it up and smell it. completely unnecessary. It doesn't tell you anything. I mean, it's going to smell like cork.
Wine.
So the bottle's not corked if it smells like cork. But what you are sensing for, and I should have real cork for this, so it's not necessary with synthetic corks, you know? So if he hands you a synthetic cork, you can just hand it right back. But with a real cork, you'll pick it up and just kind of give it a squeeze. Make sure that it's not rock hard, because if it's rock hard, then oxygen has just been flying through there, and the wine may be oxidized. Or if it's a little too spongy, then maybe there's another issue with the cork. So